All right, we are going on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Jacob Roberts, 24942. And Detective, your name for the record, please.
Detective Devin Geiger, Wyandotte Police Department.
All right, if you can please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. And you may proceed on the warrant.
On July 13th, 2024, at approximately 12:30 a.m., Wyandotte Officer Harris was patrolling the area of 17th Street and St. Ignace Ave in the city of Wyandotte when he observed a gray Audi Q7 bearing no affixed license plate traveling northbound on 17th Street. The vehicle appeared to have an unreadable temporary license plate in the rear window. Officer Harris initiated a traffic stop. While the vehicle was pulling over, Officer Harris observed it to strike the curb with the passenger tires. The male driver, later identified as Jacob Roberts, was observed making multiple furtive gestures within the vehicle. The vehicle then came to a slow stop at the intersection of Ludington and 16th Street. After a brief moment, the vehicle driven by Roberts fled from the traffic stop at a high rate of speed southbound on 16th Street. Mind you, this Officer Harris's vehicle is equipped with emergency lights and sirens, is adorned with Wyandotte Police patch. Officer Harris was also wearing a Wyandotte Police uniform. Roberts traveled westbound Pennsylvania Road and then northbound 17th Street, reaching speeds of 70 miles per hour in a residential neighborhood, disregarding all stop signs. Roberts then fled westbound Eureka Road, reaching speeds of 120 miles an hour and disregarding all traffic control devices. Roberts fled through multiple cities on westbound Eureka Road, driving into oncoming traffic and nearly losing control of his vehicle several times at a high rate of speed. Roberts turned northbound onto the McNamara terminal of the Detroit Metro Airport. Roberts continued northbound on McNamara Service Drive through a single-lane construction zone at speeds of 95 miles per hour. Roberts began driving the wrong way on an entrance ramp into oncoming traffic before crossing the median. Roberts continued off-road over a traffic berm, which the vehicle sustained disabling damage and came to a stop. A fellow stop was completed, and Officer Harris and Officer Gadaki took Mr. Roberts and ordered him out of the vehicle from the driver's seat. During search of the vehicle, officers located a half of a white oblong pill imprinted number 67, identified as acetaminophen hydrocodone binitrate in the driver's door compartment. Inside the wallet on the driver's seat, officers located a cell phone bag containing 1.65 grams of white crystal substance, later field tested positive as methamphetamine. On the passenger floor, officers located an open, half-empty bottle of on the rocks strawberry daiquiri alcohol. All this was taken as property. He's suspended and is ignorant.
All right, I find that the offenses charged were committed, there's probable cause to believe the defendant committed those offenses. And counsel, your appearance, please, for the record.
Yes, good morning. I'm Neil DeBlois here on behalf of Jacob Roberts. Your Honor, I should point out here that there is a co-defendant in this matter, Nancy King. I think the court is aware of that fact. So for purposes of this hearing, Mr. Roberts, do I have your permission to, there is a conflict of interest. You're entitled to have a separate attorney. You understand that I'm representing both you and Ms. King just for purposes of today's hearing. Are you okay with that? Do you agree to that? Do you waive your right to have separate counsel today?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And sir, your name for the record, please.
Jacob Roberts.
All right, the court, I'm sorry, counsel, you said that's the arraignment to waive the formal reading?
Waive the formal reading. Client stands mute to the charges.
The court will waive the formal reading. You have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, the court will appoint one to represent you. In fact, you've had an opportunity to speak to an attorney today. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The court has also signed a petition for court appointed attorney for felony matters. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury. You also have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing may be used against you in court. Do you understand those rights, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court's going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Schedule this matter for probable cause conference on July 25th
8:45.
at 8:45 a.m. And counsel asked to bond.
As the bond, my client advises that he has been living at the same residence in Wyandotte on 18th Street for approximately the last 10 years. He's also gainfully employed for quite a period of time with Superior Windows as an installer. He's beyond that, asked the court to take those things into consideration when setting a reasonable bond.
Well, sir, there seems to be a number of warrants out for your arrest. Have you ever failed to appear in court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, there seems to be, wow, you're really making the rounds. August of 23, Lincoln Park, misdemeanor retail fraud requested. June 23rd, 2023, Southgate Police Department, dangerous drugs, misdemeanor warrant requested. June 1st of 23, E-course, felony dangerous drugs, obstructing police, warrant requested. There's also another one out of Southgate for miscellaneous health and safety warrant requested. Also a second one out of Lincoln Park for felony dangerous drugs warrant requested, felony retail fraud, and felony dangerous drugs. Then there's also April 18th of 24, felony dangerous drugs weapons offense. What happened with that? Did that get bound over, or what happened, sir?
I think he's still pending, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I think it's pending.
Pending, okay. Did you get bound over to circuit court, or is it still pending in the 23rd district court?
Pending 23rd district, I think.
Okay, well, let's see here. Then I'm showing that there are some warrants, let's see here. Oh. Well, it appears to be pending because you failed to appear, sir. No bond was issued. How long have you been at the home, on 18th Street, sir?
Like 10 years.
Then why is it that we have an address for you in, on Southfield Road in Lincoln Park? Just.
But I lived there, but then I lived back at my dad's house. That's my dad's house over on 18.
That's not your home, that's your dad's home. That's your dad's house, sir?
Yes.
Okay, not your home, okay. So, there's also a matter out of Woodhaven that you failed to appear on. That warrant's been there since 2021. Well, you failed to appear for your probable cause conference on April 29th in the 23rd District Court, so that would be why it's still pending. Oh. And then there's a matter out of Lincoln Park for possession of drug paraphernalia. That warrant just hit May 7th of 2024. Oh. 2121. There's another one, just May 24th of 24 of the 28th District Court for dangerous weapons and possession of drug paraphernalia. Then another one out of the 33rd District Court. Sir, you have a huge problem with showing up to court. So, given your history of failure to appear, as well as the extremely problematic charges and factual allegations in this matter, you're a danger to society, sir, and you also have a problem showing up to court. So for those reasons, this court's going to order a bond appropriately. Detective, would you like to address bond?
As you said, Your Honor, given the circumstances of this case, multiple lives were at risk, not just the officers, but the public. There was a motorcyclist that almost was struck by reportedly struck by this individual. going into northbound or oncoming traffic, going to the airport, which is extremely busy. The fact that this gentleman is also on a bond conditional order where he's not to have any alcohol or drugs. He's reportedly have open intox in the vehicle, has, I believe it was methamphetamine or drugs possibly tested in the vehicle, not to be operating a vehicle. He's a flight risk with these many warrants. I suggest a high cash bond, Your Honor, 50,000. Due to the fact that he is a flight risk from all these warrants, I also request a GPS tether, not to have any alcohol, not to have any drugs, not to operate a motor vehicle unless lawfully entitled to do so.
All right. All right, the court's going to order, based upon Mr. Roberts' failure to appear, his numerous warrants, based on his failure to appear, the extremely dangerous, the extreme danger that Mr. Roberts poses to society based upon the allegations in this matter, as well as the fact that he's out on bond in the 23rd District Court for, I believe, a drug charge where one of the conditions is not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed, and it's alleged he possessed alcohol and drugs in this matter. He has clearly a problem following court orders. The court's going to order a $150,000 10% bond in this matter with the following bond conditions: do not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed. You are not to possess or have access to any firearms and or any weapons. Do you have any, sir? I didn't hear that. Sorry.
No,
You also are to, in the event bond is posted, not to be released without GPS tether through the Wayne County Jail, house arrest. Also, you're not to drive. Since you can't leave the home, you can't drive anyway. You don't have a valid license, and you also don't know how to operate a motor vehicle safely. You're not to be driving. See you back on the 31st, the 25th. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day. All right, this is a matter of all right, and so we are on the record in the matter of the City of Wyandotte versus Nancy King, 24974 A and B. And counsel, your appearance, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Neil DeBlois here on behalf of Nancy King, who appears via teleconference from the jail. Ms. King, would you state your name for the record, please?
Nancy King.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Counsel, as to the arraignment.
Yes, this matter is set for arraignment with court today, Your Honor. Before we address that, I need to point out that there is a co-defendant in this matter, Mr. Jacob Roberts, who is also seeking assistance of counsel. Ms. King, you understand that you're entitled to separate attorneys between yourself and Mr. Roberts. Are you willing to waive that right for purposes of today's hearing only?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, with respect to the arraignment, client waives formal reading and stands mute to the charges.
All right, thank you. The court will note that waiver. Will note that waiver, as well as the court will waive the formal reading, enter plea of not guilty for purposes of the arraignment. Schedule this matter for pre-trial on July 31st.
11:15.
At 11:15 a.m. And counsel as to bond.
Respect to bond, my client advises that she owns her home on Verdun and Romulus for at least the last 3 years. She does support 2 minor children. She's employed as a house cleaner, been doing that for at least the last 5 years. She always appears when necessary, when any court has ever instructed her to do so. She advises she will appear at any future hearings without fail. She's not on probation or parole anywhere. We ask the court to consider a personal bond in this matter.
Okay, and ma'am, what is your, relation to Mr. Roberts?
He's a friend.
I'm sorry?
He's a friend of mine.
Okay. If you were to test today, ma'am, what's in your system?
Sorry, what?
If you were to test today, what is in your system?
A drug test?
Yes?
You would find cocaine in my system.
And who lives at the home with you, ma'am?
I'm sorry?
Who lives at your home with you, ma'am?
Me and my children?
How old are your children?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
What'd you say? It's hard to hear.
How old are your children?
How old?
Children.
They're 8 and 14.
And who are your children with now?
Their father.
Have you ever failed to appear for court for any reason?
No,
Are you on probation or parole anywhere?
no, ma'am.
Are you out on bond in any other jurisdiction?
No.
All right, the court's going to order a $3,500 10% bond with the following bond conditions. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed, and you are to participate in random testing.
Okay.
You are to report to probation upon your release to set up testing. Any questions?
Bond would I have to raise to be released?
10% of $3,500 is $350, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We'll see you back on July 31st.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.